Hey guys, it's Kamil. In today's edition, The World Today, I want to tell you about something very interesting. I don't know if the world has recently become like this or it's been always like this. Possibly it's always been like this, but nevertheless, we live in the world that people would rather be right than not, even if it kills them. Now, I want to ask you, do you like to be right? You say yes or raise your hand if it's you. By the way, everybody should be raising their hands and saying yes. So do you like being right? Yeah, of course. So we humans, we have this funny thing that we need to feel that we are right no matter what. So we fall into arguments, we even do things just to prove that we are right. Even if it costs us everything, our family, our jobs, our relationships with people, and often even our own lives or health. You know, people, they would rather be right than actually admit that they were wrong and, and you know, make their lives great. That's the nature of a human being, and that's the weirdest thing in the world. So I want you to have a look at your life and really take yourself on, you know, because nothing will change in your life unless you take yourself on and start dealing with the situations when you just want to be right. Now, some of you might be still thinking, but why shouldn't I be right? If I'm right, why shouldn't I not be right? Well, consider this. Most of the time, when you think that you're right, you're not. Most of the time, when you think you're right, you're not. So, at best, you are incorrect. Or not, or let's say, no, let's put it this way. If you think you're right about something, at best, you are not precise. Usually, you are very often incorrect, and in many cases, you are totally wrong, actually. Look at this. Very often, you fight for something, you argue about something, and then sometime later, it could be next day, it could be 20 years later, you think, oh, blimey, I was completely wrong. Actually, this is much better. This is right. You know, so consider that at any time, whenever you think you're right, you might be wrong. And even take extreme examples like saying 2 plus 2 equals 4. You might say, of course it's 4. I'm absolutely right about this. You know what? There was a mathematician who created this equation that proves that 2 plus 2 can be actually something different. I think it was 5 or something like this. It's a long equation, so it all depends on the point of view. So most things that you think are facts are actually opinions. And somebody's opinions or your opinion. So, you know, why would you argue to be right if in most cases you are wrong anyway, or at least incorrect or not precise? Even if you're right, you might not be actually even precise, but you argue, you know, and what it costs you relationships, friendships, love, affinity. You know, people fall into arguments just because they want to prove that they are right, and they don't want to say, okay, whatever, or, you know, okay, I might be wrong, you know, maybe you're right, and just leave it, ignore the issue, you know, but people want to be right. And why are you doing this? I want you to really have a good, deep look at your life. Where do you do it? And with who? With your mother, father? What do you want to be right about with your parents? With your sisters? With your colleagues? With your friends? With your boss? What do you want to be right about? And I want you to consider that that thing that you want to prove to be right about is completely wrong. It's a made-up story. Even if it seems absolutely right, correct, it's a made-up story or part of a very small picture. And if you had a look at a much bigger picture, you would realize that it's completely made up. So I want you to consider that, and for a while, go through some situations or start living like you are wrong. And just try it and see what happens. In any conversation you have, take the conversations where you have usually arguments with people. These are the best ones. When you have usual arguments with people, look at those conversations where you argue most and think, what would happen if I just simply said, you know what, I might be wrong actually, so let's leave it like this. or I'm gonna agree that at the moment it looks a little bit different to me, or for me, I have a bit of a different opinion, but I might be wrong. Start speaking to people like that and see what happens. I promise you, your life will change dramatically. The relationships with those people will change dramatically. So start doing that from now on. Whatever somebody says and you do not disagree, you say something like this. Look, I might be wrong. However, for me, it looks like it's actually this way. Don't say, oh, you're completely wrong, or I'm right. No, it's not like this. Even if the person is saying something like 2 + 2 is 7, don't say, oh, you're completely wrong, or no, just say, look, I believe the last time I checked, 2 + 2 was 4. I might be wrong, but let's look at it again. Let's find out for sure. Believe me, it might look or sound funny to you, but the results it will create in your life will not be funny as such, but they will actually amaze you. The relationships with those people will improve. The conversations you will have will be much better. Because think about this. You want to be right and the other person wants to be right. So who's going to win? What's going to happen? You're never going to win. He or she's never going to win. They're not going to win. You're not going to win. There will be constant and you are killing love, affinity, friendship, all sorts of connections, intimacy. You know, there is no chance if two people want to be right about something, or better, if you want to be right about something, there is no space for anything else. There's no space for love. There's no space for affinity, closeness, connection. Nothing else can happen. I don't know what will happen if you stop being right in certain areas of life. I don't know what will show up, but definitely nothing will show up if you are right. If you are right about something, nothing will show up, nothing new. You will just be completely right, and I'm sure that by now you know what I'm talking about. There is this, distance between people, hostility, not being very friendly. People look at you as not very cooperative, and you think, yeah, I've proven them right. I showed them, yes. And so what? Look at the cost. What did it cost you? What is it costing you? What has it cost you all your life? And I'll give you an example. You might think that you are right because you have big experience in something. I think I've seen people and myself having experience of something of 10 years, 15 years, and then realizing that actually all those 15 years or 10 years I've been doing something not in the best way, or in a completely wrong way, so to say. And I was convinced that it was all right, or I was thinking that, yeah, that should be all right. And then I found out something else, and I was like, oh my God, what have I been doing, I'll give you some examples. For example, I went to this training of this video editing program called Adobe Premiere Pro. And the guy I went with, he's been using it for 10 years. I've been using it for some 2-3 years. Not a lot, but I have. And then I asked him, oh, this is a beginner's program. Why are we here? He said, you know what? I don't know what I don't know. And I thought, well, fair enough, same me. And we went there and we started the training. And within 1 hour, we realized that we really didn't know a lot about video editing and what's the best way to do it. When the guy showed it to us, how it should be and why, we were like, oh my God, this is gonna save us so much time in the future. You never know what you don't know. So don't argue, don't be right. It's crazy. Now, coming back to the same example, the guy told us that he has seen it many times. People who have been using Premiere Pro or other video editing programs for 10 years, 15 years, professionally every day, same thing, they've come to a training course, and they realized that they did it all wrong. All those years they had been doing it not in the best way, not in an optimized way. So crazy as it is, but I could tell you examples like this, in every area of life, including doctors, physicists, scientists, all sorts of scientists. In science we have You know, every day of the week we hear about a scientist saying, oh, 10 years ago I thought this was like that, now I'm thinking this is like that. You know, well, we thought the earth was flat, now we think it's round. Oh, we thought that earth is round, now we think it's actually not round, but maybe a little bit kind of elliptical or something like this. And all sorts of things that we were taking for granted. You know, people were saying, oh, there is gravity. Well, it turns out no one has proven that the gravity exists. I'm going to talk about this in another video. You know, people are wrong all the time, even though they think that they are completely right, and everything suggests that they are right. You know, how many times have I been right about something? I could see, yes, this is something I've seen 20 times. It must be the same in this case. And I look at this case, and this case is different. And sometimes even completely different. You know, we can't be right. You need to get it, like seriously. If you want to have a great life, you need to get it right now and forever. Most of your life, you're not right, most of the time. And even if you're right, this is not serving you if you're being right when you are right. So learn to give up your right to be right, especially when you are right. Just learn to give it up and focus on developing relationships, affinity, love, connection with people. That's what's going to make real difference in your life. That's what's going to improve the quality of your life. Not a new car, not a new computer, new phone, new tablet, or new clothes, or new nose, or new, I don't know, ears, whatever. No, what's going to improve the quality of your life is your relationships with other people and with yourself. That's what improves the quality of your life dramatically. Okay, did you get it? Do you believe me? So from now on, I want you to practice giving up being right. Every day, choose an area of life and give a few things up. So right now, I want you to make a list of situations, at least 3, recently, when you had an argument, and think how you could have gone through the whole process in a different way. How could you have given up your right to be right, and just how could you have been more, what's the right way, diplomatic? You know, really make this exercise. If you don't make this exercise, or if you make it in your head, it's not gonna make much of a difference in your life. You've been doing this all your life, didn't make any difference. So stop being right about the fact that it's gonna work if you don't do it, or if you just do it in your head. Stop, give that up, give that right to be right, and really write it down. Situation, my argument with Jimmy, and then what could I have done different? I could have said this, or I could have just stopped, or I could have been nicer, or whatever, right? What else could you write there? Think about other things that you can learn from the experience. Choose 3 situations like this, do this exercise right away after watching this video, and start before actually the end of the video finishes, okay? Grab a piece of paper, do it on a piece of paper, ideally white paper, blue ink. Don't do it on a computer, but if you have to use a computer or something, but I'm telling you it's best if you do it with your hand on piece of paper, blue ink, white paper. So go and do it and start experiencing a better life for yourself, okay? Thanks for watching, and now I'm gonna think what I'm going to give up. So see you in the next video. Share the video with others, they will be really grateful, and thank you for watching. Right, what was I right about this week or today? Oh, I know. I was right about... no, I don't want to say that. I think I'm just gonna write it down, because that's what I said I'm gonna do. Where's my notebook? Why are you not getting a notebook and a pen yet? What are you waiting for? Okay, so situation number 1, with my girlfriend. Oh, I've been doing this for a long time, so it's very difficult for me to find a situation when I was not right, because mostly I give up that right to be right. But I'm sure you'll find a lot of them, and I will find in a moment some. Yeah, I will.